Hello, guys. Welcome back to another election prediction. This time we have a 2024 Democratic primary matchup, pretty much a rematch between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. But this time, Elizabeth Warren, Mike Bloomberg, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar aren't running, so none of them could act as spoiler, which I think Warren really hurt Bernie Sanders in that primary and probably caused him to lose. But we're going to go state by state here, and it's proportional, so it'll be interesting. Iowa, I think it would narrowly tilt to Bernie Sanders. This is pretty significant. I mean, Biden's only at 40% in some of the Democratic primary polling. So if Bernie really decides to mount a serious opposition, he'll probably win Iowa. And he'll probably win most of the states he won against Biden in the past, honestly. His base is pretty loyal and devoted. I have to go on that. In New Hampshire, Biden really struggled in this state. This is sort of an anti incumbent state. So I think Biden will probably end up losing this to Bernie. Biden got fifth place here in the primary, so he really wasn't New Hampshire's voters' main choice here in the first place. State of Nevada, I still think Biden's going to struggle with Latinos here. I think Bernie does a little bit better with them. And also considering the progressives took over the Nevada State Party here, I think that's only going to help Bernie Sanders. He has that foundation he can rely on and get the vote out there. However, the state of South Carolina, I think African American voters will largely stick by Joe Biden, and that's how much he would win the state by 70 to 20. Actually, yeah, probably around 70 to 29, I would say. State of Vermont, probably a split like that, 75-25. Massachusetts, another flip for Bernie, but it'll still be relatively close, be a 5-point victory. Maine, another flip for Bernie, be probably a 9-point victory. I just think he'll probably appeal better to New England voters here. However, the South will come in for Biden, and he'll probably do extremely well here. Well, Bernie probably would get 31%, I would say. Bernie would do decent in North Carolina, but it'll still like 34. It's still pretty much a landslide in most of these areas and states. Alabama, probably crushing victory. He did extremely well here. Tennessee, I could see Bernie doing a bit better there because there's more white voters, which he appealed better among. Arkansas, again, probably around, not that big of a margin, probably around that. Oklahoma, I think Bernie did pretty well here. It'll probably be 40 to 59. A lot of this may be just anti-Biden vote, honestly. In Texas, I actually think Bernie would get close to getting it. Probably around 40 to 50, still a 20-point margin. Colorado would largely back Bernie by a decent margin. While Utah, usually it's a younger electorate for the Democratic primary here, and he'll do significantly better. Even California would probably end up voting against Biden, but it would still be closer than you'd expect. It's currently Bernie. Oh, Minnesota too. Interesting. I think it would be a narrow victory just because Biden's approval is really struggling in a lot of traditionally Democratic states like Minnesota and New York. So Bernie could capitalize on that anti Biden sentiment in the Democratic Party. However, Joe Biden largely still has a delegate lead, and that'll probably carry over to the state of Mississippi. Well, Bernie would probably lose by a lot. Missouri, Bernie would probably lose by around that margin. Michigan, Bernie would be kind of competitive, but still would end up losing it because most of the centrists will come up backing him. Bernie would get a narrow victory in North Dakota. Bernie would flip Idaho from the last time, and would also narrowly flip Washington State. However, Biden still has that delegate lead. American Samoa probably would go to Biden. It's usually establishment states, honestly, in the territories. Democrats abroad probably end up voting for Bernie in this scenario. But yeah, let's go through the last few states. The state of Florida, Bernie would probably end up getting crushed here like he did last time. He just doesn't perform well among Latinos in this state, especially. Well, Biden would probably easily win Ohio against him because he's more moderate, and there's a lot of moderate votes in Ohio. Illinois, Bernie could perform pretty well here, but still largely end up losing. Arizona, I also expect Bernie probably do decent here, but he'll still lose, while Bernie would probably end up winning. Hawaii, probably by a significant margin. There's a lot of progressive in the state. And Alaska by a narrow margin. However, at this point, looking at the delegate math, Joe Biden has a nearly 300 delegate lead. And at this point, I would probably expect Bernie to drop out of the race, realizing it's impossible for him to catch up and win. considering what states are left over. However, let's say Bernie stays in, but I'm not going to fill in the delegate margins at this point. By then, Bernie already lost. So if I was to fill in the states like this, let's say Bernie kept running, just to speed up the video. I would expect Bernie to probably win Rhode Island and New York. Biden, there was a one poll that showed Biden negative in New York a little bit, which is honestly very surprising. So a lot of Democrats are disapproving of him, and I think that would really help Bernie out in the state of New York. However, these states I just would expect to go to Biden. Well, Bernie would probably win New Mexico and Oregon and probably Puerto Rico and Guam and that territory. Well, Biden would probably win Virgin Islands. Just this is what I expect the primary to kind of shake up to be. Bernie probably wouldn't get as much delegates as this because I think he would probably drop out when he realized he didn't have a path, but this is just a hypothetical. So let me know what you think of this video in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.